it's Prime with Iron Octopus Fitness, and today is another Technique Tuesday, and I'm gonna do this in a stocking cap and a jean jacket, because that's who I am now. Today, we're gonna focus on the deadlift. I'm gonna specifically talk about conventional stance, so that's when your feet are closer together, similar to a squat, rather than a sumo stance, which is where your feet are wider apart. A lot of these principles still apply. It's a really great exercise, especially for people that rely on their glutes to do stuff, which skaters do. So, here's the deadlift. Okay, so one of the first things I want to do when I talk about the deadlift is talk about how to set up the actual bar. So I have a barbell with bumper plates, and those are these big black plates. They're usually black, sometimes they come in different colors. They're kind of rubbery or plasticky, and they're called bumper plates because you can bump them on the ground and it doesn't really matter. The thing about bumper plates is that regardless of how heavy they are, they're all the same size. So this is a 15-pound bumper plate. A 10-pound bumper plate is the same diameter. Every bumper plate elevates the bar the same distance off the floor. Some gyms don't have bumper plates. If you are at a gym that only has hex plates or like steel plates and not bumper plates where the smaller weights are smaller diameter, it can be difficult to get the deadlift barbell as high off the floor as you need it. So don't be afraid to actually elevate the barbell as high as you need it to make your deadlift feel comfortable, especially if you don't have bumper plates. One of the biggest problems I see with deadlifts is that people often squat lift. A deadlift is not a squat, they are very different. So a squat lift is like, I'm down here in my squat stance, and then I'm gonna squat the bar up, and I just happen to be holding it down. When you're deadlifting, you actually want your hips to be up a little bit higher than they are with a squat. So in my squat stance, if I'm all the way down here, and like this is my squat stance, my deadlift is actually gonna be up here. So my butt is a little bit higher, and I'm not gonna rely on knee movement to get the bar up. I'm gonna rely on pushing my hips forward to get the bar up. The second thing you want to think about with regards to your deadlift is your back. In my deadlift, my back is going to be flat from head to shoulder blades all the way down to my tailbone. If I were to lay something flat across them like a broom, it would be flat like a table the whole time. I don't want to crank my neck up. I don't want my head down like this. I don't want to round through my back at all. I want everything to be nice and flat. The third thing that's really important with the deadlift is to not forget that it's not just a lower body movement. So yes, we're using our hips and our glutes to do the deadlift, but we also are using our back, and we really want to engage our biggest back muscles, which are our lats, these muscles right here. Before I even lift the bar, what I'm going to do is get in my stance with my hips higher than a squat. I'm going to make sure that my back is flat, and then before I lift the bar, I'm actually going to pull the bar towards me a little bit. If I pull it towards me a little bit, I'm going to tighten up my lats, right? I'm taking the slack out of the bar, I'm taking the slack out of my body, so that as soon as I start moving, the bar is gonna come with me because there's no slack there, there's no tension to take out. So in practice, I'm gonna walk up to the bar. Hopefully it won't roll away from me, but it might. You're gonna bring the bar nice and close to your shins. Your hands are gonna be on the outside of your feet because this is a conventional deadlift. You don't ever want the bar to drift further forward than the top middle of your foot. You're going to bend at your hips so that they're nice and high, and come down and get your grip on the bar, whatever that's gonna look like for you. You can bend your knees a little bit more if you want, but keep your hips up. Your back is nice and flat. You're gonna make orange juice, take the tension out of that bar. Push up to top, squeeze your glutes together, nice and tight, avoid leaning back, and then hinge back at your hips, and then bend your knees once the bar is past your knees and put it back down on the ground. The deadlift is a really great exercise, but it's also one that we can do really poorly because we're so used to squatting. So it's really important to make sure that you are paying attention to how this lift is different from a typical squat, that you're starting with weight that is relatively low until you make sure that your form is good, and that if you need assistance, like elevating the barbell up further off the ground, that you use it. There's no shame in using assistance if you need it. So that's this week's Technique Tuesday, alternatively titled How to Deadlift in a Jean Jacket. If you have any questions about the deadlift or anything that you're stuck on, you can post them below. Otherwise, I think we should all get to the gym and start deadlifting some weight because it really will make a difference. This is Prime with Iron Octopus Fitness, and I'll see you later.